The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
We have Mike from Chicago on the line, and he has a question about digestion.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, guys. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
First of all, I just wanted to say that I love the show. I think it's great programming, and I'm very much of a like mind when it comes to, taking control of your own health and certainly doing your own research.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico Haan and Paige Clarke.
Happy Friday and welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, exploring our return to a more balanced, natural, wild world where we have a personal choice, personal health, and personal freedoms. Thanks for joining us on our journey. And I'm Nico Haan.
I'm Paige Clarke.
It's beautiful here in downtown Clearwater. It's a 51 degrees. It's
kind of beautiful, a little bit chilly.
It's a little chilly for us, but it's, I'm loving it, really. It's a nice change.
Chance to wear our boots and our sweaters.
Yeah, the clothes we haven't. I've got my scarf here even, and my wife knitted that for me.
Shirt.
Yeah,
oh, she made that for you?
Yeah, I'll have her make you one.
That makes it extra special.
Well, it does. Well, she makes little hats and stuff, really cute stuff.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, she's a very talented gal.
She is.
Please subscribe to our Health Signals newsletter, and please order our Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. If you want an edge on life, which most of us do in this modern age, I think this is the product that will help you do that. And you can do this all on the TFNN website at tfnn.com. And, of course, we're taking your calls at 877-927-6648.
Very good.
So,
we're talking about rewilding ourselves.
Yes, we are. I ran across this wonderful article by Danny Vitalis, and he's the rewilding man, thinks a lot on the same lines that I do.
Sir Thrival.
He really is.
That's his website, Sir Thrival. He started that whole thing. I like him. I like him,
too. He really goes off the edge on some things, but I like his attitude, and he certainly has. His website's full of great stuff. And what he's talking about in this article, it's a fitness for survival. And the reason I thought of this and looked at this is, there's a lot going on in our world violence-wise. Shootings in Paris, of course, that's still going on. I don't know if they actually caught those guys, but, these are things that happen to us, and we think of the prehistoric world or the prehistory of being a wilder people, being hunter and gatherers, as very dangerous things. You got things that can eat you. You've got maybe other tribes that can attack you. But I don't think this is much different than today. Today we just have it in a different form. Mm-hmm. And my thinking is always, we used to really take care of ourselves, and now we have society enabling us to not be what we used to be, taking care of ourselves, self-enabled to survive, not only in the wild, but in that society, in your tribe and other tribes in the world. So not just knowing how to make fire and things like that, but also maybe in combat. I'm not talking really about war as much as I'm talking about threats that you personally can, that approaches you.
That's really cool. Here's a little quote, just to kind of set this tone here as you go on and share more of this with us. He says, here in artifact land,
yeah, I like that.
We have grown soft from sedentary living. Everything seems to be padded and fenced, sterile and well lit. Think of these antibiotic soaps. We remove, rather than training people to be more survivable, we instead try to remove from their world every imaginable source of danger, from eliminating the natural predator species that you just brought up, from their landscapes, to putting drowning warnings on 5-gallon buckets. Life has little edge for most moderns, and so we have been lulled into a kind of overconfident slumber. Yeah,
and he calls us moderns. I think that's appropriate. We're domesticated, the breed of Homo sapiens, so we have changed. And I think really...
domesticated humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not just us, it's also all our surroundings, because we're in little boxes, our houses. Mm-hmm. We're not out in the open, and we spend more time in these enclosed, artificial land. We're not part of the wild anymore. We're not, in fact, many religions teach that we're not part of the natural world. We're above that, because that's dirty, and we're clean human beings. You know,
and then the judgment sets in.
And then, of course, the judgment sets in, and then, of course...
And the separation.
The separation, yeah. I mean, a lot goes on into it, and I think it's really important to realize that, you know, now we have the police who have the guns and the weapons and the skills to supposedly protect us, but they can't, of course.
But what he says is life, even domesticated life, is not safe, as most of us have come to believe.
Obviously.
So tell us
you know,
more.
and now we die in kind of plane crashes. You know, we still have, we're still at the mercy of nature. We really haven't, even though we were in houses and stuff, it seems like the tornadoes are getting smarter, you know, demolishing the structures. As we build stronger structures, it just evolves into something else. I don't know what's really going on there, but I know that the teepees that the Sioux used to make used to withstand hurricane strength or tornado strength winds, just because of the structure of it.
Yeah, and they also created a vortex of energy because of their pyramidal type structure.
Exactly, and they also, you know, you can build a fire in it, the smoke goes out the top. I mean, it's an ingenious thing, and you have your fur rugs and everything like that. I mean, it's a beautiful life, I think.
Yeah, what is he talking about when he says we're going to learn about the primal self-defense software that came standard with our bodies?
Well, that's you know, he's doing and this is a prelude to a show that he's doing, this dispatch. He has all these dispatches, and so they're going to be talking about this on his show about a fitness for survival. So these are the things he's going to be talking about, and I thought it was a very cool thing to do, and that's kind of what we do too. There are real dangers in our world, and it takes maturity and willingness to examine them in detail. So, you know, I thought, well, let's bring it up, and, you know, obviously, with this religious fanaticism, let's call it, with the Muslims, and of course, in every religion has that aspect to it.
That's a really key point that you just said without
it has nothing to do with
one particular group.
Because all they're taking is an ideology and skewing it to their level and saying, okay, if you do this, draw a cartoon of our God, that is blasphemy and we'll kill you, even though God may say, don't kill anybody. You know, so it really doesn't make any sense. But, you know, because we have these threats, we're really not safe in today's world. So I think it's better to let's prepare ourselves a little bit.
Yeah. How survivable are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, how survivable. You know, what does survival mean? The state or fact of continuing to live or exist, typically in spite of an accident, ordeal, or difficult situation. These can be mental or physical.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about the loss of loved ones, like, you know.
Yeah. We all had that.
Yeah.
You've had it in your family. I've had it in my family. Yeah, that's, you know, these are the things that we have to kind of overcome. But the violence part, I think what I'm doing, jiu-jitsu, but maybe another martial art or any kind, maybe learning how to use a weapon, which I've never done. And that's kind of one thing that I've always said maybe I should be doing, but I'm not really fond of guns, and I think the only reason I'm not fond of them, I haven't really used them that many. I use them in ROTC. I've fired a pistol, I've fired a rifle, I've fired a shotgun, so I know how it feels, but to dismantle a gun and take care of a gun and knowing the proper use of guns, I don't have any knowledge of that. So
I don't either, but you know, this is a good point of what he says. So he's got a sneak peek. I don't guess it's something that maybe we can share the link with the listeners if they want to get involved with Daniel Vitalis.
Yeah, well, what I'll do is put it in my next newsletter, and I'll put the links in there.
So if you're a newsletter subscriber, you might want to get a part of this. But
you can also look him up on the web, folks.
Daniel Vitalis.
Vitalis.
Really cool.
Yeah, really nice, interesting thing.
But like he says, sneak peek, fit for what? Yeah, what are we fit for?
Not much, huh? Because we're being taken care of on every level.
We're, you know, we're one tragic situation away from devastation if you're not prepared. But what are we preparing for? It's not about a fear-based thing. It's about being prudent and just being that was always a trait that was well respected. Well,
also we were part of a tribe, and now we don't have that anymore. So even in our neighborhood, I think one of the steps would be to get to know your neighbors, maybe send, you know, some kind of relationship with them, so at least you know them, that you can actually talk to them during a tragedy or during a time of need when you need other people to help you through a crisis or band together, so to speak.
Do you remember when we were kids, there were block parties?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't even hear of anyone doing that. I haven't been involved in one of those, but I thought that was the coolest thing.
Well, I
goes
think,
down the street.
yeah.
Everybody's almost more like in Europe, like the piazza, the plaza, where everyone comes out after dinner and meets in the common area.
Yeah, Jay says, my neighbors don't want to know me. Well, I know exactly how you feel, Jay. I get no respect. The thing is, too, you know, I have always thought about if we was going to design a neighborhood in a style of tribal, at the center of it, I would put a community center.
Like a grand council area?
Yeah, I mean, like a council area, but also fire pits and kicking, you know, for cooking. So we can communally eat together. There's no sense. Not everybody likes to cook, but there are, in every neighborhood, there are these great cooks.
Yes,
and they're also great hunters.
Recipe, and
then we all come together to eat, and, you know, that seems more normal than being separated. You know, we used to eat as families. We don't even do that anymore.
Yeah.
So, you know, everybody's eating by themselves or maybe with one or two people, but it used to be group eating. And I know as a tribe, people always, and there are tribes that eat in a group.
Well, see, I like that. I think of that. Actually, one of my fantasies, one of my bucket list things is a family compound that consists of beautiful property with a great view, where the focus is not so much on the structures.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be, you know, teepees or yurts, or those tiny houses that, you know, the tiny house.
Why not a little of each? I mean, what everybody...
Yeah, and so each family member has their thing, but there's some type of common area that's built that's like a coverage where we could have food, like a shelter at a park or something, and there's cooking and maybe storytelling, fire. I have a vision of that. I think that would be a wonderful multi-generational bonding situation.
It just feels good. You know, it looks good too. Yeah, but it sounds great. Yeah. There was an article that I wanted to show you, and it was really about alcohol. And let me see if I can pick this up here.
Hey, we're kind of coming out of the season. I got it right here. The origins of alcohol consumption were revealed. Human ancestors may have begun evolving the knack for consuming alcohol about 10 million years ago, long before modern humans began brewing booze, researchers say.
Yes.
The ability to break down alcohol likely helped human ancestors make the most out of rotting fermented food. It was a protection. I think I shared with you some research that looked at a person who eats a meal, a dinner meal, and with no alcohol, a person who has alcohol with no dinner meal, and a person who has a dinner meal with alcohol. And they found that the person that had the meal with alcohol, this was a study, had better digestion and less digestive threats. You know, it was actually protective to them.
I can tell you, last night, of course, we had the TFNN party.
Yes, and I had a family event, so I
had one glass of wine. The only problem is they kept pouring wine into it. So I had probably about 3 glasses.
So you had 3 glasses in the same one,
with the same one. And
I used to use that
and this morning when I woke up, I'll tell you, I felt the extra, because I'm used to maybe 1 or 2 glasses. It's the 3rd one that always gets me, and I didn't quite feel right. And I can even still feel it in me a little bit. So too much is no good, naturally, but you know, a little bit of alcohol with a meal can be very healthy for you and for a lot of people. So.
You know what's really cool is this article was written by a paleogeneticist at Santa Fe College in Gainesville, Florida. That's close to us.
Yep.
I like that term, paleogeneticist.
Number is 877-927-6648. Please pick up my newsletter and some Primal Edge, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Check out the new look of Tiger TV. Now you can see all hosts, charts, and computer screens live in high definition. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pesavento, Andy Hecht, Thinkorswim, or Terrell Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV. Now, crystal clear in high definition, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't seen the new look of Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investments, and whether you're bullish or bearish on Chinese stocks, the ETFs from Direction Shares are there to help you magnify your perspective. Bull ETFs for a rising market and bear ETFs for a falling market. Direction Shares gives you the tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And welcome back, everybody. So, we're talking about rewilding, and we're always looking at ways to cooperate with nature. And we saw this article, super insulated clothing could eliminate the need for indoor heating.
Illustrator, yeah.
I thought this was pretty interesting because it's actually clothing that's been dip-coated in a silver nanowire solution that is highly radiation insulating. A person may stay so warm in the winter that they can greatly reduce or even eliminate their need for heating their home.
Yeah, this is cool, and it's also, when you read it, they're using these metals to resonate, to actually create the bond of electricity to heat the body. Mm-hmm. So they're using the metals as a natural conductor, which it reflects our own heat back to us. Remember, we're 96.5, right?
Right, 98.6.
98.6, excuse me. My dyslexia.
That's okay.
And so we're radiating this nice heat, and when it's reflected back to us, we're as warm as toast. And
right, so instead of letting it just escape through the top crown chakra out of the head, we're going to recirculate this heat. You know, this is just another perfect example. We could ask Tom O'Brien the industrial value of precious metals such as silver, being an insulator. We know that silver, you guys, you investor people are smarter about this than I am, but that these are, they have their industrial value. And here's just another example. What would happen if people, we want to reduce our energy consumption in our houses? 47% of global energy is spent on indoor heating, and 42% of that specifically for residential heating. what a huge savings this could be, but also what a boon for the demand for this precious metal.
Yeah, both of those things. And what I like about it, of course, artificial heat dries us out, which we have to put moisture back into our homes.
Correct. And think about how you feel when you have it heating your house and your nose gets all dried out, or you go to a dry climate.
Right.
Where it's cold, but it's dry, and you get that.
So I think that this could make us more in tune with the environment. Also, one of the things you mentioned during the break is that it feels so good to breathe cool air. So, I mean, there's a plus there, and I think you're just more in touch, and of course, there's a certain place for heat. I mean, if it gets 40 below, probably it's not going to work as much, but you can certainly keep the thermostat maybe at 65 or something like that instead of the 72 or whatever somebody's using now. But I like this, and I think some of the next technology would be also maybe, for injuries, for sickness, maybe adding things into our clothing that can help us in that way too.
Well, stop and think about it. I mean, I don't even know yet because I haven't seen the whole article. You know, stuff comes to us kind of on the fly. But silver is a antibiotic, a natural antibiotic.
And copper is also a painkiller.
Copper's a painkiller, and so there's antibacterial effects in these metals. So what would happen, and maybe in protecting us as we move around and we attract germs, microorganisms, and so forth onto our clothing, take them into our houses, maybe this has a great, effect on that.
Yeah. Now, if anybody's listening from like these drug companies like Merck or something or Monsanto, I don't want them to get an idea that we're saying putting drugs into our clothing.
No.
We're talking about metals, and we're talking about natural reaction of our environment to help us, not drugging us with GMO products or drugs.
Yeah. But I like the way we just in one more point about this because we get just a short second. But I like when we think this through. Think about it, folks. And this is as the researchers explained, most strategies to reduce indoor heating focuses on improving the insulation, the R value. I can remember when I was doing remodeling, were we going to blow it in, we get a higher R value, or we'd put in the bats of insulation, and there's all these different things, or should we put in low emissivity windows, so that we don't have as much heat loss through the glass. However, think about it, folks. A large portion of the energy is still wasted on heating empty space and inanimate objects. Right. I mean, we're keeping the sofa warm, the bedroom warm, and yet we're all in the kitchen. So this idea of making use of this perfect heat that is all natural, it's like free energy, folks. So, we're going to take advantage of the free energy, and that we. So I'm going to be watching this real carefully. Tell us what tell me what you think.
Yeah, and especially we're having a much colder winter this year. And
the Arctic chill.
Arctic chill with the clipper and all these new terms in the Weather Channel. I mean, they're coming up with, and it's getting real high tech too, which is cool. Of course, watching the Suspicious Observer, you get a lot of different answers too. I recommend people going to Suspicious Observer. I post his feed every day as a little morning news every day about the sun and how it reacts with us. And it's all valuable information. And,
good stuff.
Yeah, it is good stuff. So this is very cool. We're going to be right back, folks. Please pick up my Health Signals newsletter. I've got a new one coming out next week. I got lots of stuff planned to sock it in there. And please pick up a little Primal Edge so you can have that edge on life that we all need.
And we're going to get an edge by paying attention to what Graham Hancock has to tell us. Some cool stuff next. So stay tuned.
You've heard Nico Haan as co-host of Living a Primal Lifestyle, which airs every Friday at noon Eastern Time on TFNN, and would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. Nico and Paige here on Living a Primal Lifestyle. Paige, last night, or yesterday afternoon, actually, I was watching a talk by Graham Hancock. It was a video. And I'm going to be putting that into my next newsletter also, because I think it's important to realize that Graham Hancock claims that we're a species with amnesia. In other words, we've forgotten where we came from. We think that we were hunter and gatherers about 10,000 or 12,000 years ago. And then all of a sudden, from that, a couple of thousand years, we started building pyramids and we were very advanced. And then all of a sudden, our advancements became less and less, and we don't know how to build those anymore. There's a lot of monuments around the world. He was talking specifically about the headstones in Easter Island.
So can I just make sure I'm following you?
Yes.
So what he's saying, we are a civilization with amnesia, indicating that we were perhaps way more advanced than this hunter-gatherer, and that hunter-gatherer really was the beginning of the amnesia, that there was there
was a civilization before that was here that appears to be much more advanced on certain knowledge that we don't have now. And
this makes sense with a lot of other things that you and I are pulling together here.
So on Easter Island, they have all these statues.
Right.
Okay. And him and his friend, who is from Harvard, who is a geologist, and he went there with him specifically because he had identified that the enclosure around the Sphinx was much older than that the normal archaeologists had thought. They were all thinking, well, this happened maybe 4,000 or 5,000 years ago, where it seems like there was a big rain event for thousands of years in that enclosure, and that didn't happen 5,000 years ago. That happened 12,000 years ago. Okay, so the dating of these things are kind of funny, because if you go to some of the Inca lands, you find these big stones that are 100 tons, and then on top of it all these small stones. And those small stones, we know the Inca built those things, but the normal modern people think, well, they also built those big stones. But why would you use big stones and then go to a little stone? It seems like less technology. You don't know as much if you're using those small stones. How do you move a 100-ton monolith? You know, we don't do that today.
Yeah. So this article...
Well, let me go back to the Easter Island. So he's looking at these things, and this is dating back about 700 to maybe 1,500 years ago, is the common thought process. And the archaeologist is looking at this, or the biology guy, and he's saying, you know, how come that one over there that's laying down is 30 feet tall, and here we're seeing all these things, and they're only 10 or 12 feet long or 14 feet tall? So you dig a little bit, and you find out that this thing is up to its waist in dirt.
Right.
Okay, and all the archaeologists, the modern times, are saying, you know, wonder why they put all these things down, and you know, a third of your statue or 2/3 of your statue is not being seen. I mean, what artist would do that? Doesn't make any sense, because this is an intricate detail in the whole thing. So he's looking at the sediment. He says, you know, they didn't bury this. This is sediment.
There was a flood.
30 feet of sediment. Okay, and how long does that take?
Earth changes.
Earth changes. It could be because of a big event, but it also could be just because of the layering of soil. It's like going into New York, and the subway is running here, but below, in 1920s, the subway was here, and below that, the 1700s is here. So, you know, they're stacking, different societies are stacking up on top of it, and you can find out what's going on. So he asked his geologist friend, I can't think of his name, but off the top of my head, but he says, how long would it take? He says, well, at least 12, 15, maybe 20, maybe 30,000 years for that sediment to pile up that high. And so, you know, when you start dating these sites, and, you know, one of the things that happened, and we know this pretty much because of the fingerprint of comets, that there was a big comet that landed on Earth, and it really brought in the age of the deep freeze.
Yeah, so this article that you're going to kind of go through is called...
on the telestrator, I have a map here. This shows the debris field of the comet that hit, and it hit the biggest part up in northern Canada.
So the title is The Fingerprint of a Global Cataclysm 12,800 years ago. Hit this area in almost like a scatter pattern.
Right.
Comet.
And so part of what they're finding in that field of view, all these different numbers, there are different parts of the comet that hit.
Yeah, like a scatter gun.
But if you look at what was going on at that time, over in New York City, there were 2 miles of ice. Okay, so we were in the deep freeze.
Right.
Okay, so what happened when this comet hit? It melted the ice. Okay, and then we had the big flood. Of course, many stories around the world had the mythology of the flood in different, you know, Gilgamesh in India, and Noah's in the Iraq area, and with the Bible, and of course the common ancestors here in the United States always had a story of that type of thing. All world
civilizations have a story about it.
Right.
This was near the end of the last ice age, from which our world had been emerging into a pleasant warming phase, but the impact set in train of this comet, a kind of nuclear winter, and plunged the planet back into a period of deep cold and darkness that lasted into around 11,500 years ago.
Yeah, and this Graham Hancock is one of those people who thinks that the pyramids were probably built before that time also. And the archaeologists say, no, there's no reason to think that, because there is no other thing around that dates back that far. Of course, since then, we have Göbekli Tepe, which is in Turkey, and that dates back to 12,000 years ago and was buried.
Yeah.
They think it was purposely buried. I think maybe it was purposely buried. Maybe it was buried by the sediment.
Yeah, he says here this result was a global disaster that lasted for 1,300 years. So the process of these earth changes were going on for some time.
Now, what is interesting about this, and I have another article from Graham.
Yeah, he says this is where he believes this is the smoking gun that made us a species with amnesia and wiped out almost all traces of a former higher civilization of prehistoric antiquity.
So we go back, and this is the original book that he had, was called the, what the heck is the name of it now? Anyway, I'll think of the name
Fingerprint of the Gods.
Fingerprint of the Gods. And his new one is going to be The Magicians of the Gods. Fingerprints of the Gods brings up an interesting fact, because here we have the pyramids of Egypt, and they're...
Which are exact match of the
Orion's belt. And in fact, if you go into it deeper, you can see all the pyramids that are around it actually match the Orion constellation. Whole constellation. So you got 63 different pyramids.
As above, so below.
Yes, and also you have the Sphinx, which is mirrored by the, you know, without the head of a human would be the head of a lion, which I think originally it was.
Yeah,
but the interesting fact is it doesn't match with the sky of today. So if you go back and do a computer rendition of the sky today and you click it backwards, you come up to a time of 10,500 BC, which is about 12,000 years ago, and that's when everything lines up. But it doesn't line up with just this one. Now, if you go to Cambodia, where they have that Angkor beautiful temple, which was built around maybe 1500 or something like that, that is the exact match of the star system above that. And that also dates back to 10,500 BC. Now, you take the pyramids in the Yucatan that mirror the stars above the Yucatan, and you click back into the thing, that also dates back to that time. So what Graham Hancock and many of these people are talking about is that we are a species of amnesia, but people left us markers.
And these markers were
date back to that particular time of the cataclysm. We don't know why yet. Maybe there's another one coming. I have no idea. But the interesting part of this too is that the pyramids are all built on certain numbers. So if you take the pyramids of Egypt and you go 72 degrees
it's all sacred
east,
geometry and
well, you know,
math.
72 degrees is that, or that Gobi Tepe. And you go 72 degrees, then you go to the Cambodian one. You go 72 degrees, and there's another one there. So all around the world, there are these...
What's an energy grids? They mark energy grids.
And 72 is a very important number in precession, where you're looking at a certain star, and you wait 72 years, and the stars move 1 degree. And what brought this together for me was that if you look at the dam of the Hoover Dam, the guy who built that put a plaque on there, and he said, I put the stars in there that are above the dam, but they only correlate to the date that we built the dam. So this is what human beings do. He wants to let the people know 10,000 years from now that I built this dam and I built it at this time.
Yeah, so it's almost like a true recording of the dating, you know, because we wonder sometimes if, you know, we've heard that our history books are not exactly the truth, you know, and that we've been misled to believe certain things. I mean, from our history books to our religious books, whatever. This is a true recording by civilization, trying to communicate with us from the past into the future.
So these people like Graham Hancock and Anthony West and all these people that are you know, really going beyond what other agricultural people or anthropology and everything is looking at, and coming up with these theories that everybody's debunking. But I think there's a lot of validity in this.
Yeah, this is really cool. It's like he says, in other words, you know, everything we have been taught about the origins of civilization occurs after 11,500 years ago. It's really what happened before we had that punctuation mark of that cataclysmic event, the punctuation mark of the Younger Dryas. That's what Graham Hancock is spending his time researching right now And I'm sure it's going to be fascinating what he
It's
uncovers.
very fascinating, and you know, there are so many sites that he's going to, and a lot of them are underwater off the coast of India. Fishermen had claimed for many years that there's a city under there because their nets get caught and they send a diver down to get the net, and he says, oh, it was caught among this statue of some kind, and everybody says, there's nothing out there. But remember that before, when the ice sheet was 2 miles high, the water level of the Earth was 400 feet lower.
Right.
Okay, so the Earth looked a lot different. Indonesia, in fact, was one large island, and now he's finding pyramids in Egypt or in Indonesia. That there were these guys who were doing agricultural digs up on top of this pyramid, and not even knowing it was a pyramid, and they're dating everything. Oh, this would happen 3,000 years ago, 2,500 years ago, and some shepherd who had been trained in England. And came back to his father and said, you know, I'm going to go look around that area because I think it's a little different. And he started digging around the bottom of the pyramid, 300 feet below where those modern guys are. And he finds this cave with drawings in it. And he's dating this stuff. He sent it to the university. It dates 26,000 years ago. Wow. You know, so I mean, there's a lot that we don't know, and I think exploring this is one of the most important things. I mean, this is our history, this is our lineage. Who knows how many times civilizations might have been here and destroyed right on our Earth? You know, we spent a lot of time thinking about aliens and stuff like that, but we didn't even know what's going on here yet.
That's a really great point. Yeah. Exactly.
And India, that you know, they found a Sanskrit thing about yogas, with all the diagrams of all the different positions, that was over 6,000 years old. So it's over 6,000 years ago, in India, they were already practicing all the moves they knew. So how long ago did they really know?
Right.
It's an amazing thing, and this is really what thrills me. And you know, it's part of our primal lifestyle that we need to know these things, and this is where our money should be going, not into wars and all this defense and stuff like that. Let us take care of ourselves. Let's do away with all that stuff, and let's get interested in where we come from, and maybe that'll lead us to someplace
where we're supposed to be going.
Yeah, exactly.
And what we're supposed to be doing. Yeah, so it is fascinating. I really enjoy finding this kind of stuff, information.
Yeah. So Graham Hancock, I'm going to put it in my letter, but please, if you're interested in any of this,
let's keep following this and
look at
keep
Graham
up to date.
Hancock and Anthony West and Robert Bouval and Schock. Who was the guy that went with him, Robert Schock. Very fascinating guy. He also was looking at these mountains in I think it was the Ukraine area, up in the Baltics, and finding statues that may be 30, 40,000 years old that were kind of natural, but maybe carved, kind of like our, where we have the presidents, what is that place, with the president's heads, the George
Washington.
Yeah,
that's because you said it. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But that's just.
But you know, this is interesting stuff. So I just thought I wanted to bring this up because it's kind of what makes it exciting for me. And I do a lot of research naturally on food, and we talk a lot about food and fitness here. But this is really part of the primal lifestyle too. So I really wanted to get across how important I think this stuff is.
Yeah, because I think that's the key. You know, in fact, what were we really like? You know, we have this idea that it was primal, but it would, like you said, it could have been much more advanced.
And you know, there's questions naturally about also, you know, the evolution and where we came from and how we were 30, 40, 50,000 years ago. It might be completely different than we think.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Fascinating stuff.
Yep. Folks, we'll be back in a few minutes. I got one more segment coming up, and I hope you stick around. The number here is 877-927-6648. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy, a set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. Nico and Paige here, and we're living a primal lifestyle. And, we're talking about Graham Hancock's too, all that stuff, and it's really fascinating. I know a lot of people are probably interested in this stuff, and I think, I do a lot of reading on that. Joseph Campbell, somebody mentioned. It's just
David
fast.
Wilcox,
yeah.
stuff.
And interesting, too, that a lot of these people really subscribe also to the Suspicious Observer, Electric Universe with this Thunderbolts project. So the Electric Universe is deeply embedded with the people who are doing this kind of work because they know the sun is electric, not atomic. And so this falls in line in that. And I noticed also in listening to these people, a lot of them are primal. A lot of them, so it makes me feel good.
Again, primal was kind of, we don't want to be pigeonholed to what primal is. Primal is returning to a natural life. Removing those things that Daniel Vitalis told us earlier, these safety valves, these things we do so that we don't have to experience nature, all these additives and funky, food-like merchandise and things. That's what we're about. We don't want to fight about whether or not you eat vegetables or fruit. I mean, I get so tired of people who are trying to pigeonhole people into a diet. So let's just hit on a couple of things, because we've got to hit a few nutritional things. 4 healthy ways to kickstart your new year.
Yep.
It is the new year, guys. And, you know, maybe we just need to keep it simple. Maybe there's just a couple things you can do.
And the 4 ways, I like what Amy did in this thing. This is an article by Amy
Myers, MD.
Yes.
Yeah, and she's like,
going to say
basically,
Grant, but it's the singer.
Yeah, that's the singer.
Yeah. Well, the first thing always is cleaning up your diet. So no matter what you want to do, is really think about, this is the biggest change that you can make, and it will make the biggest impact on your health and how you feel on a daily basis. So you need to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And,
now,
you know,
the second thing is something that you always preach, and that's healing your gut.
right.
Removing the bad gut infections, replacing it with nutrient-dense food, and just repairing, you know, the damage that has been done by our modern foods.
Well, and that leaky gut that we've heard that term so much is really a scenario that's been created by eating these man-made frankenfoods, these convenient foods that we've used to insulate ourselves from the wild world. So let's start to heal our gut, and we can see major things happening in our lives, you know. So, you know, in functional medicine, we kind of refer to it kind of like a 4R: remove, replace, re-inoculate, and repair. Those are some great little R words, you know, so we can kind of focus on that.
So the third one is that reducing that toxicity burden that we all have from not only food, but from our environment, from your home, from your clothing.
From your makeup, from your perfumes. I mean, you know, when we start to make a laundry list, when we really start to realize the things that can become the great offenders, it really is up to you. It's a personal journey, and you have to start looking at all areas of your life.
Yeah, that's true. And the last thing, this is food, air, water, of course. And the last thing is reducing your stress. And in this modern age, boy, that's really what it's about. You know, during the holidays, I had a really pleasant time because I had those 4 days off, a few days on, 4 more days off.
Well, the way it fell, it really made it feel like a long holiday for me personally.
It felt like a 2-week holiday. You know, there was very little work to do, and it was really cool.
You know, one of my little slogans is I help people stress less so they can feel better and be more. Be more relaxed, be more at peace, be more mindful, be more conscious, be more attractive, be more happy. Be more, because stress, you know, if you ask any medical doctor or anybody else that's in the real health field, they'll tell you that what is the main reason that most people have a problem, and they'll say they come because of a stress-related issue.
And also, the big point that I want to make is the stress is artificial stress. It's not the stress from nature. That's a different stress.
Well, part of it is artificial stress, because what have we done? We have detached. We have unwilded ourselves. So we're going to rewild ourselves here.
Yep.
So you guys stick with us,
See
and
us
let's
next
all
week.
get wild. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, folks.
Don't be too wild, though.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.